All right, today we're going to dig into a concept that, honestly, is one of the biggest reasons modern AI is so incredibly powerful. We're going to answer the question, what exactly is transfer learning, and why is everyone calling it the ultimate shortcut in AI?
Okay, if you take away just one thing from this whole explainer, make it this quote right here. Start from knowledge, not zero. Seriously, that's the entire philosophy of transfer learning. It's the whole idea, right there, in 5 words. It's all about the difference between starting from scratch and building on what you already know.
But to really get why this shortcut is such a big deal, we have to look at the crazy long road it helps us skip. So, what did starting from zero actually look like back in the day?
So, before transfer learning was, the way everyone did things, training a useful AI model, wow. It was like being told you had to climb a massive, impossible mountain for every single new task.
I mean, training from scratch, first, you needed just a mountain of data. We're talking millions, sometimes even billions of examples. Then you needed a mountain of computing power. Think supercomputers running for weeks on end. And on top of all that, you needed a mountain of time. It was just incredibly slow, super expensive, and honestly, only a handful of the biggest tech labs could even attempt it. Here's a way to think about just how absurd this whole from scratch thing was. Imagine you have a student who wants to become a doctor, and you tell them, awesome, but before you can do that, you have to personally go out and rediscover all the laws of physics, then chemistry, then all of biology, all by yourself. It makes zero sense, right? But for a long, long time, that's pretty much exactly how we were training AI. But then, thankfully, came a much, much smarter way of doing things. And this brings us right to the breakthrough that's really at the heart of modern AI. This incredible shortcut we call transfer learning. So, what is it really? Well, put simply, transfer learning is a technique where you take a model that's already been trained on a huge general data set, and you use all of that learned knowledge as the starting point for a brand new related task. See? You're not starting from zero, you're starting from a place of really deep foundational understanding.
And honestly, this is the absolute best way to think about it. Transfer learning is basically like giving your AI a world-class university education before its first day on the job. It's not a blank slate coming in. It already has this massive base of general knowledge to pull from.
Okay, so how does this whole process of learn once, then specialize actually work under the hood? Let's break down the mechanics. It really all happens in three main steps. So, step one, the foundation gets built. This is called pre-training. This is where a gigantic model is trained on a ton of general data, like a huge chunk of the internet, to just learn about language, images, how the world works. Step two, you figure out your new specific task. Maybe you want to build an app that can identify different species of birds. And then step three, you adapt that massive foundation for your specific goal. This super important step, the specialization part, that's called fine-tuning.
And our whole university analogy, it fits this process perfectly. Think about the pre-trained model as a doctor who just graduated from medical school, right? They have a massive general knowledge of the human body. Fine-tuning is like that same doctor going through their residency to become a specialist, maybe a cardiologist. They're not going back to relearn basic biology. They're applying and refining the knowledge they already have for a very specific high-level job.
Okay, so we get what it is and we get how it works, but why is this such a massive, massive game changer for the entire field of AI? Let's talk about the real-world impact. This right here is the single biggest reason. Just look at that staggering reduction in how much data you need. I mean, if training from scratch needs, let's say, 100 units of data, using transfer learning might only need 10, or maybe even just 1. This incredible efficiency just blew the doors wide open. It democratized AI, making it accessible to thousands of developers and researchers, not just a handful of tech giants. So the practical value here is just, it's immense. You get to start with a world-class foundation that already gets basic concepts. We call this feature reuse. So for an image model, that means it already knows how to spot edges, textures, and shapes. For a language model, it already understands grammar and how sentences work. And since it doesn't have to relearn all those basics, you can build super powerful, specialized AI incredibly fast and with way, way less data. And this, right here, is really the ultimate takeaway. This isn't just some clever little trick, it is a fundamental pillar of the AI that we all use every single day. The reason an app on your phone can identify a plant from a single photo, that's transfer learning. It is exactly why modern AI works so well,
even when it only has a tiny amount of new data to learn from.
So, I'll leave you with this thought. We've managed to teach AI to learn broadly and then specialize, which is a really deeply human trait. Now that it can transfer knowledge so effectively, what's the next human-like learning skill it's going to master? Real common sense? Maybe genuine creativity? That right there, that's the question that's driving the entire field of AI forward today.